I'm Donna.
I'm Sarah.
We're the hosts of Less Code, More Power. And today, on our very first episode, we are going to introduce you to a fine gentleman from the UK.
Gentleman, yeah, I would say he's a gentleman. Keith Whatling.
Yes, he's one of the very first people who jumped onto the Power Platform with both arms and said, this is a thing that I'm going to be an expert in. And by the end of the episode, you will be 100% convinced to become a Power addict yourself.
Jumped in both arms, both legs, I think.
I think so.
With literally every part of his being. And
Yes.
yeah, he shows us some really cool stuff that you can basically get started with.
Especially if you've never used Power Platform before, this is a great place to start. Stay tuned. Hello, I'm Donna.
And I'm Sarah.
We're your hosts of an amazing new Channel 9 show called Less Code, More Power. On this show, we're going to be talking about some pretty cool tools that might be useful for you, such as apps for your Android or iOS phone,
Dashboards, websites, analytics dashboards too, so like full-on analytics.
chatbots, and guess what? All of these can be built with
Less code.
more power. You're going to be meeting a whole slew of our friends from all over the world who are using the Microsoft Power Platform to live their lives and their businesses. First up is
Keith Whatling. We literally have the amazing pleasure of introducing Keith today. Welcome, Keith, on the show.
Hello.
So Keith, could you just, one of the things that we really want to be able to, really get across is your story. How did you get into the Power Platform? Tell us who you are, what you do, and how you started.
Well, I was working for a bus company and doing public transport. And a friend of mine, we were talking about kind of like forms over data and how that was a real problem and we needed to get away from paper. So we looked at Microsoft Forms, and it just didn't do context-sensitive drop-downs, and I really needed context-sensitive drop-downs. And I went back to my desk, and all of a sudden there was this little button called Power Apps came up, and I clicked on it, and I thought, oh man, that looks really hard. And I went away for a day, and I came back and I was, I'm going to give it a go. And I took apart some templates and stuff, and I just started building apps, and within, I don't know, I suppose a couple of hours, I had something that was writing data to a data source.
In a couple of hours?
I think it was even, like a couple of hours. It was Excel, and then I connected it up. I found this thing called the Common Data Service, and in 53 hours, I put together an app that connected to an API, an external API, a data source. Connected to TfL's data source. So I was pulling the locations of buses. It was taking QR codes or barcodes of parts. So if an engineer got called out to a bus, they could find out where the bus was. They could do context-sensitive drop-downs. They could take a picture of the defect, and they could check out the parts. And that was done in about 54 hours. Obviously, it's a proof of concept with no documentation.
obviously.
But it was really cool, and I was just absolutely hooked because I'd spent the best part of the last 4 years of my life becoming reintroduced to technology, and I taught myself VBA, and that was great, but it didn't quite cut the mustard. So I thought I should learn Python, and that was kind of okay. And then I tried to learn C#, and I was trying to be this pro developer, build all this cool tech for my company, and I had a family. I got young kids and a wife, and every night was daddy sat in front of the laptop, not paying attention, not putting the kids to bed, not reading the stories, not doing the daddy bits, not being fun, just being really boring. And
was you at least enjoying it?
Yeah, I mean, I got a massive kick out of it, man. But you've got to go. It's such an effort. It is such an effort to do absolutely everything, and then I look around and I'm like, well, I'm missing the best years of my kids' lives. Maybe I shouldn't bother with this sort of thing. But I know what apps I wanted to build. I could see in my head exactly what I wanted to build. I just needed a more efficient way of building it. And I'm not a pro developer. I taught myself, so I'm failing as fast as I'm learning. That's what I'm doing. So I just kind of clicked on the Power Apps thing, and it was Excel. It was even easier than any programming language you ever come across. It's not even a programming language. I mean, they're basically Excel formulas. It's like 50% of all of the things you can do inside of Power Apps is an exact copy and paste from Excel. I mean, why would you not want to do that? And then the real crazy thing happened. I started showing other people. Started sharing what I'd learned, and they started getting real benefit from it too. They started building apps, and like I'd build an app and then I'd give it to somebody else to carry on building. And the business was growing.
Was this internally then? You started sharing it?
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing for you. You was like, wow, have you seen this stuff? So I'm assuming it just got enabled through Office 365 in your org?
Yeah. I mean, like it got enabled through 365. They switch it on. And we're one of these fantastic companies who's got the turn it on, sort it out later on mentality. So you always get everything cool. But it was really cool. And I must have been so annoying back then, because all I was banging on about all day long was like this thing I'd found and how it could transform the business and all that kind of stuff. So that was really super cool.
What I find is, sorry to interrupt you, but what I find extraordinary about this is I've been a pro dev 18 years. And if you told me, Donna, I need an app built in 53 hours that solves this problem, I would be running around trying to solve this problem.
Wow.
Because as a pro dev, we're generally good at one or the other thing. We're good at the UI, the UX, the look and feel, where people click and fill out stuff, or we're good at the back end. But we're not good at both.
So you'd normally have more than one person developing that as well, right?
It's pretty rare to have someone who's exceptionally good at building the back end of an app and the front end of an app, especially for both iOS and Android, which it just doesn't happen. You're either an Android dev or an iOS dev because you're learning JDK or you're learning Swift. It depends on what you're trying to do.
Yep.
And
don't worry about all that, Donna. You don't need any of that. Literally, the most fun that I ever had. Because thinking about deployment, right?
Yeah.
So I had this app, and we're having a discussion about whether there should be a star rating on the bottom of the app because it was for staff, right? And we were thinking, we shouldn't really rate staff. That's probably a bad idea, you know. And we had there's this argument going on, this discussion going on between all the managers, and they're going, right, well, put it on. Okay, put it on, yeah. Okay, so 1 star means this, 5 stars mean that. Right, okay, now we need to change that. And every time we were changing it, every couple of hours, because it was, the war was raging backwards and forwards. And every time I was just share with my old, boom, done. Right, that's deployed, see you later on, forget about it, throw it over the fence, it's finished, it's out there, it's all good, And it was like, I didn't need to go through that whole, this is stuff that I've learned later on. Power Apps has been a gateway to learning, so DevOps and that kind of stuff and all that governance piece. But it was just fire and forget. And those apps really weirdly, as long as you kind of go in and publish them every sort of 60 days, it just keep working. It's that's the really miraculous thing. It's like, and what do I get out of it? I've got changing career because I don't work for the bus company anymore, and I get my kids back, I get my wife back, and that's been the real magic of it, really. And I made a huge bunch of friends. So
you feel like cool. You've essentially been able to make the apps you want, as well as have the family life you want too, and
and social life as well. I kind of this whole thing and meeting all these wonderful people, and in case I've met Sarah in real life, and it's incredible, the way that these people transform your life if you let them. It's really cool, and it's the most wonderful community I've ever been a part of. I tried to be part of the pro dev community, and I just got shot down because I didn't know anywhere near enough, and I was asking stupid questions, and I didn't know the forum etiquette rules. And if you don't know the forum etiquette rules, I mean, it's literally like walking into someone's house and pouring a drink over the carpet. I mean, you just don't,
Such a good analogy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, you've got to be really polite, and I just didn't know how to behave in that world. But fast forward to the Power Platform community and the forums that are there, just fantastic, because everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's beginning. Everyone's like epiphany here, epiphany there. Never been on a forum before. Never done this before. Yeah. And we're all learning together, and people were helping one another. So I found that with the pro dev stuff, I would get an answer to half of the code, to half of the problem that I was trying to solve, and I could never solve it. I deployed one website, and the whole entire time I was trying to be a pro dev, and there was this thing called G Unicorn, and Nijix, and I thought they were gangster rappers, but I could not get my website past these things, and it was driving me potty. So I kind of just like said, enough's enough. Like I'm going to walk away from this thing. It's like, but now I'm good. But the point being is that I was trying to get this thing done, and I only ever got part of the answer. With the Power Platform, what I got was the full answer. Right? I got every bit that I wanted, and if I was still stuck on the thread, people were offering to jump on a call with me. Like they were saying, "Look, well, I just Teams you." You know, I was back in those days, Skype. You know, I just Skype you, and we'll just, you know, we'll just crack on and have a conversation, and we'll unblock you. Why? Well, because we're paying it forward. Like someone's done that for us. You know, a Shane, a Brian, these, you know, Shane Young and Brian Dang, and all these people who are out in the community. Was saying, and they set the standard, you know, set the bar. Audrey Gordon, you know, massively set the bar for what the community should be about, you know, caring, sharing, and paying it forward. And that was the number one thing, you know, and it's just transformed everybody's lives. It's been pretty incredible, really.
So what I think is really interesting is this pay it forward culture that exists in the Power Platform community, the Power Addicts, less code, more power people. Because Keith, you do that for people. Where I introduced you to someone maybe a month ago, and you were on the phone with her, helping her debug her problem. And even this morning, we're all on a chat trying to help her debug her issue. And I noticed that about this community right away as well, where everyone is a beginner and no one is a beginner. Because the product itself is so new that there's no experts. No one has been around doing this for 30 years, right? So no one gets to say, oh my God, I've built 900 of these. I've done them for so long. I no longer have anything to learn. It's all new. Everything is new.
Yeah.
So I really,
100%.
really like that. So do you have something new to show us?
Yeah,
A
yeah.
demo,
So
perhaps?
I stumbled across something the other day, and I thought,
really?
You
Stumbled.
just happened
All right.
to come across this.
Yeah.
I just happened to come across this thing, right? So I was trying to figure out, like, I got this big thing about local authorities, right? Because I think local authorities do an incredible job. So in the US, I don't know what that's called. It's probably the government, but in the UK, they're called local authorities. They're the council, the people who sweep the streets, right? And I get really upset by the lack of technology that they have, because in their pocket, they've got a mobile phone, but for work, they've got a piece of paper. And I worry, and I've seen it before in the bus industry, where you've got someone who you know, hoses down the underneath of a bus. That's their job, right? They've got this hazmat suit on. And it's an awful job, but they're assuming that the robot's going to replace them, right? That's the whole raison d'etre of their existence. The robot's going to come and it's going to take my job, and it's you technology people that are going to do that to me. And what I found was that I wanted to kind of like democratize the tech for them. So what I started doing is I find people around them who had just about enough computer knowledge, you know, literally been able to turn it on, and empower them. And they started building these people apps, and all of a sudden transformation comes around when you find that this person who thinks they're in this dead-end job actually feels massively valued. Now, no one in their right mind is going to build a traditional app for that person, right? That's just not going to happen, because it's too much money. But this you can, and they feel valued. So what I did, a little thing. So imagine that there's a guy or girl walking around outside. They're roadside operative, right? So they're gonna put right what's wrong out there, or they're doing something in the council, and they see something wrong. Like they're the eyes and the ears of the community. So they want to log what that thing is and where that is, right? So in Power Apps, I built a very simple form that's got a drill down on it, right? So they can go in and say, right, I found a broken thing, and it's some playground equipment because it's me, and it's a roundabout, and that's the end question. So what I generated was sort of like end questions to a very end answer. And when you hit that end answer, that's written to the database, right? So that seems fairly cool, right? Now, in the background here, we've got things like with Power Platform, which are really cool. So, for example, like to help that street operative, I can go and do crazy things like get the location of the of where that person is, right? So I can just literally hit that, allow that, and I've got part of my GPS lat long there, and I could do the other one by hitting location longitude. Do you have any idea how difficult that is to do in traditional code, right? Like I try to look, it's mind-boggling, right? And I just did that by typing location.latitude, and there it is. And when I hit end, I'm going to write that to my record, right? Now, the other cool thing is I built this on something called the Common Data Service, right? So that's a really weird analogy, common, right? So I think of it like common land in Britain. So in common land in Britain, you could take your cattle to grades, yeah? Right? So this is a database that's ERP grade, that ERP word meaning it's expensive, theoretically expensive, but good, but like really secure, really powerful.
You get your money's worth, don't you?
Get your money's worth, like big time get your money's worth, right? Yet it's designed for commoners like me. So I could go in and I can build this top quality data source that's relational, that's got all of the governance around it that you'd expect, all of the auditing around it you'd expect, for like, I think the price is about £8 at the moment. So check the pricing now, but it's about £8. That's nothing, right? That's like nothing. If I can't save you £8 a month per user with an app, I should not have the app, I should delete it. Right, that's just the way it is. So this data source, as it were, so it's a bit cool, right? It's a bit crazy. This data source, I've got an entity in it, and that's like a table. And what I've done is I've created a relationship, but instead of relating it to another entity, I've related it to itself. So it's spinning round, right? So the questions inside are just spawning more questions, more questions, more questions. Now I hear you say, but Keith, you could do that with a SharePoint list or another data source. And I agree you could. But if you change the parent question, you've then got to go and populate all those other text fields. With this, because it's relational, it automatically cascades all the way down and all that governance goes away. So you change it one place, goes everywhere. Fantastical, right? So spot on. And we can see, and the best bit about the Common Data Service, I think, personally, is this incredible, and I have to change my little screen here 1 second. Do apologise. Very unprofessional of me.
This is looking good though, Keith. This is looking great.
So in the wonderment that is the Common Data Service, there's an Excel connector. What? I hear you ask. Well, no, it's an Excel connector, and that means that someone who's an Excel fanatic like me can still go in, get down and dirty with the data. And I've got this wicked little panel over in the corner here. I can publish my changes and all that kind of stuff. And look, these are my relationships. These are looking up relationships. This is like proper ERP stuff. This is connecting to a database. I'm going to ask the question again. Do you have any idea how difficult that is to do in Excel with VBA? It's very difficult. It's not straightforward, right? I've got a proper date picker as well. It's all there for me, right? It is literally like, when I clicked on it, there was like Power Apps. I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like Power Apps is cool, right? Like there's no denying it's the cool kid. But then this thing was just like, this is what makes it serious. This is what makes it like the next big thing. Yeah, it's just absolutely epic. And the best bit about it is it can connect to like 280 plus data sources, and I can mash data up from everywhere. And if I haven't got a data source, like I said, 53 hours to connect it to an external API. Do you know what I did? I copy and pasted the API into a box till there was a little green tick, and I hit OK, and that was it, right? That's as much as I did. Yeah, it's not like connect to an API like code, yeah, and HTTP responses and all that stuff. None of that. I copy and pasted stuff into boxes until it worked. That's IT. Copy and paste until it works, right?
That's pretty good though, in terms of the fact that you know, from a kind of an absolute beginner's, you know, kind of realm, you've been able to do so much with it. You've been able to, you know, connect to CDS, you've been able to make it a UI, you've been able to bring that all together in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, because it's easy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it out loud because it's pretty easy, right? It's like, there is a course you can do called App in a Day, and by the end of it, you can build apps, you know? And I've seen people on day 2 build a business solution, right? Like, yeah, just mic drop, see you later.
I love it. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here with us, Keith. It was wonderful to talk to you, and I can't wait to meet you in person this week.
Yeah, definitely.
One of the last things that we wanted to do, right, is that, you know, this has been really amazing, but from a takeaway perspective for our audience, we really want to give, for those people watching, a takeaway that you can go and do now.
Yes.
Like you can start right now.
Go do this today.
This isn't about scheduling it in or you're too busy or whatever you want to, insert in that kind of like bracket. Go and do this now. What would you say, what would be your thing, your call to action, Keith?
So I've been working at Quantiq, right? And I've learned F&O and BC and all these amazing dynamics technologies. And what I started seeing all over the place was this tiny little button, this tiny little Power Apps button. It's kind of like just, little squares with a loop. And it's everywhere, like it's pervasive. It's in Azure, right? It's in Azure for Azure SQL data tables. Yeah. It's in SharePoint. It's in F&O. It's everywhere, right? Dynamics is built on the Common Data Service, and part of those apps are, Power Apps. So what I would say is, I'd love you to click on that as a technologist, right? Someone who knows how to build technology, and you'll be surprised how far you get. Once you've clicked on that button, right? Download App in a Day and go and start teaching people technology. Because like I said about the guy who hosts the buses out and the people on the street and stuff, we are so lucky to have technology, right? Yeah. We assume that it's a language for everybody. And there's this barrier to entry that everybody's got in their brain that I can't do this thing, but I guarantee you they can, right? There is an app in everybody, just like there's a book in everybody, in every person out there I found, there is an app, there is a problem, there is a solution. And this is where you come to unlock it.
I love that. There's an app in everybody.
Yeah,
I love that line. We're totally using that the rest of the show. All right. Thank you very much for being here with us, Keith, and everyone. Till next time, let's code.
More power.